Hi everyone, today's video is a Q&A question. Sometimes I really struggle with starting a video, but anyway, let's go. Are you curious about biomedical science, career paths, etc., or taking a career break, switching careers, or creating content? In this Q&A, I will be answering your questions about biomedical science, all the common questions that you guys have asked me. So let's go. So why this Q&A matters? Like I promised, I will always be sharing your top questions. So I do read your questions and I do comment on everybody. I know I prioritize YouTube because you commented on the actual video, so that way I know, because when you're producing so much content you don't know who is where and what is what. It's a lot of information. So that's why, guys, if you have any questions, please drop them under the video, which you do. Thank you so much. LinkedIn, yes, I pay attention to LinkedIn, but all my other social media is very difficult when you're managing all your social media. Take it from me, it's a one-man show. But I like to do things myself. So that's why I will, as I always promise, that I look at the frequently asked questions and I will be answering them. That's why I launched this channel, because I was thinking, what information can I give? Because I had a lot of experience and journey, and that's what we need. And this is what I have gained from, this is what I have, because I used to do a lot of mentoring, and I love mentoring, and I love giving back. And that's what people said: we want real stories, we want to relate, we need to have that. And now we've got these platforms that helps us to, even for me, for my own personal journey, when I'm looking for my next challenge, or if I'm in a journey. So that way, and then I thought, okay, there's a lot of biomedical science topics out there, but everyone's journey is unique, everyone's journey is different. It's all about perspective. That's why I launched my channel, and I was like, no, I have a lot to offer and I want to communicate. So you guys have been amazing, and you guys are helping this channel to grow, because that way you're not growing alone, I'm growing with you guys, because I'm learning a lot. So thank you so much for participating. So the first one I'm going to talk about, obviously, is starting your biomedical science journey. It's very, you need to choose it carefully. So this is how I break it down. Oh, I wish I wish someone told me, is make sure you choose the right degree. In general, does it, like in the previous video when we spoke about the questions that you ask yourself, when I spoke about the difference between biomedical science and biomedical engineering, you need to ask yourself the two questions: one, about the type of work that you enjoy, and two, your personality. So in two words, your interests and career goals. So that way you choose the right degree. And the most important thing, that degree needs to be accredited by the IBMS in order for you to register with the HCPC, whether you're UK or non-UK. I'm going to talk about the non-UK in the future. I've touched upon that in a previous video, but I'll explain further, because it is overwhelming, so stay tuned for this. Thirdly, the most important thing is lab experience, or any experience, but I have an opinion about that. We don't talk about the lab or non-lab. I've spoken in a previous video about the differences between them, and it was extensive. So we're gonna revisit that in a different way. So I think, even if you don't end up in a lab work and you decide to work in a company, the lab experience gives you some amazing skills. Working in a lab is completely different than when you're working on a desk, because I've worked in both. I've worked as a research scientist in a research company, and it's just at your desk. But when I worked in a lab, it's different. Especially, I've worked both in hospital setting and private setting. They both have the same buzz. I personally enjoy it. I love it. So it's just, it really pushes you. You explore. Even if you work as an MLA, both ways you can, because MLAs and BMSs, they work together in the same space. So you can explore and find out. So if you work as an MLA, what you can speak to BMSs and shadow them and find out, stay behind, come on the days that you're not working. You know, there's a lot of flexibility in these workplaces. Truly, I managed to grow that way. I used to stay behind. I used to look for the individuals who love training, and a lot, coordinate with the management. Like the last hospital I've worked in, if any of you are watching the video, hi. They are amazing in terms of training. Absolutely. Even for me, even when I was working as a self-employed, I was learning a lot. I can attend the webinars, I can participate in any activities or sessions they have. It was amazing and I loved it. I stayed there for almost 2 years. So this is how I enjoyed it. So I worked for some time and then I took a career break, and then fortunately I went back and I enjoyed it so much. So this is my personal opinion. Lab experience does matter whether you land on a lab career or non-lab career. So just to summarize, the degree is important. Is it accredited? Your experience. So the next one I chose theme is why I took a career break. I think it's really good to go in that order, because we spoke about the importance of choosing your career. You've chosen your career, you've worked, you've invested so much into it. From my own experience, as I said, I've shared reasons why, but I'm going to use this one that outstands, is burnout. For me, that was the part where I felt I really need to take a break. And because I had my own reasons, personal reasons to take a career break. So, and also I would add to that the stress, because when you're working in a full-time, I find, this is my observation in the last couple of years, it became very, very challenging to take time off. The fact that you have to wait, say if you have an emergency, it can be a bit challenging. So that sort of stress I couldn't handle. So that's why I went for self-employment, because I needed the freedom and the flexibility. So that's why I wanted to get out and observe from a distance. And it was the best decision that I've made. Yes, it was brave. I took the leap of faith. But it was the part where I thought I needed to take time off, observe, because I was chasing this dream for so long. I've taken the longest route to become qualified biomedical scientist. And I'm going to be very honest. And that was one of the reasons when I decided, you know what, I'm going to try and help as many people out there not to give up. It's never too late. You can do your best. The rewards will be worth it, because that's where the creating content came, which we're going to talk about that. So I was really exhausted. I was really drained. So when I got qualified, even though I had a job lined up, I decided that I need to stop. It was unintentional, but I just decided to reject that, because when I was getting trained, that hospital was very far. I was commuting 3 hours a day. Fortunately, it was part-time, but it started full-time and then part-time. So I was exhausted. And the other position was even further, an extra 15 minutes. I said, no, it was a band 5, but I thought, no, I'm not going to commute it anymore. So it took about just under 2 months until the private biomedical scientist position came. I did get into a bit of a panic, don't get me wrong. And I got the job, and it was the best 2 years I've had in that place. It was amazing. I loved it. It was challenging at the beginning. I was very honest that I had no biomedical science experience, but I had loads of years of medical laboratory assistant experience, both in private and NHS. And that gave me the resilience, and that gave me loads of skills that I don't think I would have gained if I just stayed in the same position. And another advice to you guys, if you're an MLA and you become a BMS, you become a fantastic BMS. Someone told me that, and I'm telling you from my own experience. So don't underestimate being an MLA. You learn a lot. However, your learning has to be your responsibility. Nobody's going to hold your hand and train you. You have to do it. If I didn't do it, I don't think I would have progressed throughout the whole career. But then I learned that's how to succeed in a career. You have to put in the work. You have to put in the effort. So that's what the career break, how it came. So first it was unintentional, and then after that I've taken several career breaks, and that has given me the space to reflect, to travel, to focus on my personal life, family, passion, etc. And one of my passions is creating content. So this is one of the common questions I got about transitioning into a new career, and I put it under new perspective, because like I said, my main aim was to get out of the lab and explore what would my role outside the lab be, not just in healthcare, but also in society. So being a biomedical scientist or in that field, the good thing is you are used to continuous learning, because you're always getting trained, you're always getting you're always updating yourself and all of that. So you're so used to learning continuously. And also, because of the job itself, you're used to adjusting. For example, and new challenges. For example, today you might be covering one bench, but then another bench might need more work, so you'll be covering that as well. Or they might change the rota, so you end up with an open mind, an open adaptable mind. So it's really good. I must admit, it benefited me, even though I'm a person who doesn't like change. Well, not now, I'm okay with it, but I still struggle sometimes. That changed my personality, so I look at change as a positive thing. What's the positive that will come out of it? So that's in terms of transitioning. But the skills which you gain as a biomedical scientist, for example, I'm talking about my experience. This is all about a biomedical scientist journey. The skills that you get, like we've discussed in a previous video, the skills that you have as a biomedical scientist, I truly think these transferable skills are future skills. For example, what I'm doing now, I'm creating content. I deliver talks, I deliver webinars. It's all under communication. So that is a very important transferable skill. So you can take these. The good thing about transferable skills, let me make it very simple. Transferable skills are the skills that you have that you can take to any career. So even though you apply it to being a scientist, but you can apply it to be a writer or creating content. So that made me discover more about personal branding. I didn't know what personal branding is. And I'm going to confess to you guys, when I first used LinkedIn, I didn't know what, I didn't know anything. I'm just going to say I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about personal branding. LinkedIn, I only joined LinkedIn when I got qualified in order to fit in the professional society. And then I realized there's something called personal branding, the importance of LinkedIn. It's like your digital CV. The importance of networking, not just in online, but also in person. So that all comes under personal branding, and I've shared that in a previous video. Check it out. And I've seen a lot of people engaged with it, so it's very important. All these skills: LinkedIn, networking, personal branding. So all that comes under if you are transitioning into a new career. For example, for me at the moment, creating content is something I'm very passionate about, and I'm using it while I'm taking my career break, as I said in a previous video, because of personal reasons. So how did I start my channel? I'm not gonna lie, it was I was so used to creating content, so I started being on Instagram. Obviously, all of us, we were on Facebook. Well, if you were born after a certain age. I started being on Instagram, and obviously Snapchat was there. That's how I build up. So I was sharing content, my frustrations on Instagram. So my professional journey turned into a personal growth, and then I published my book because people were reading my content and they said, "Oh, why don't you publish a book?" And I thought, I'm a scientist. But then I realized the journey to become qualified biomedical scientist, I learned so much that they don't teach you at university. So I turned my thoughts, the journaling of a couple of years, into that book. And it's a very simple book. I decided just to put it out there. I self-published it. The editing was a disaster, but that's fine. I remember I was offered to for people to publish it, but I'm a strong believer of doing things myself. It doesn't matter. I'm happy to learn and fail, and as long as I know. So I went on. A friend of mine suggested, why don't you go on Amazon and self-publish it? So it was very difficult, and that was the result. Why would I make it this big? But I've put all my thoughts in there, so it's very simple. Not much of writing there. It's just the things that I really thought nobody tells you. For example, the importance of knowing your goal, what are your passions, the importance of starting again, positive thinking, negotiation skills, all of this that nobody talks about, the importance of networking. So all of this, so I put it, my handle on Instagram was Aida Noor Thoughts, so I used to just put my thoughts out there. So I thought, why not put my first book, Aida Noor Thoughts, I think I write as speak. So that was how it started. And then fast forward, when I took a career break during COVID, again, it made me realize that a career is is different than just having a job. Your job is not your career, it's part of your career. So that's when I decided to level it up, and I appreciated the importance of branding, LinkedIn, and all of that. So it came under creating your dream career. And then I published my second book. That was better because we have AI now, so it helped me with editing. And then it was much better because I've learned how to do it. So if you can see the difference, if you can see the difference between both. But I'm not ashamed. I want people to believe that you can start any time and any way. Nobody starts from the top, and you're not born with knowledge. Nobody's born with knowledge. So when I get into a panic like all of you, I think, Ida, nobody's born with knowledge. It's fine. Just do it. So when I launched my YouTube channel, I started learning about editing, and I'm not gonna lie, I never liked editing. Up to this day, I do struggle with it, but now I'm getting better. Hopefully now with this video, you can see the improvement between the first video and this video. And I'll be sharing in a future video my journey of 1 year on YouTube and how I did it and what I've learned. So stay tuned there. I'm not gonna leave any stone unturned. You're gonna get the whole package. So I started on Canva. I really struggled. Oh my God, I really struggled. I even learned how to create my website. I've done it 3 times, but I've turned it down now. I'm sorry, because I really believe that it's more visual. So starting content for me was visual, written visual. So you write, you post, nice picture. But now it's visual. So I turned down the website. I've got a little page called Linktree which it has everything in one page. That was fantastic. I only launched it recently. So if you're considering a website, you don't have to have that page. So I came across that. So I was very happy with that. So when I got a professional camera, which I'm recording right now. So first I started with the phone. Luckily I had the microphone, etc. And then fast forward, I've finally purchased the camera, which I'm recording now, the lighting and all of that. Then I had to change the software that I'm using, Filmora. So that's the editing process. It's the most difficult in my opinion. I struggled with it anyway because I don't have that skill, but now I'm enjoying it. I love it, especially when you look at the end result. Also, I really find it very important to the engagement. I'm not just going to sit here and deliver information and tell you. There's lots of information out there. I just think the way of delivery matters, how to break it down, because how I survive in life is breaking complicated things into small bites, size, manageable, tangible things, because this is how my brain processes. This is how I survive. And I think at this day and age, like I mentioned in one of my collaborations, which I'm going to talk about, the importance of simple communication. We have a very short attention span, so which fits with my personality. So I think I'm in the right time. Thank God for that. So as much as I talk about the benefits of self-employment or freelance or locum, which we use now, locum biomedical scientist, which I am now, there are of course risks. The advantage first is the freedom, because you can stop work, you can change the job. You might work a week in a place and you think, no, your circumstances might change, or you don't like it or anything. So you can change jobs. In terms of times or hours, yes, you can. Most of them are full-time. But some of them, they can include weekends. I think the last place I've worked, I did do overtime. I did do weekends. It was a lovely place. I enjoyed it. So hi guys, if you watch this video. However, the downside is the uncertainty, because your contract might end. The job market changes. You always have to have that at the back of your mind. Financial limitations. So, because your job might terminate, so your finances will be affected. Think of it that way. So the uncertainty. But thank God for me, so far I was never out of a job. So I'm just lucky about that. So don't worry about that. But it's worth experiencing it, depending on your personality. And that leads me to the third point. It made me discover about myself. I discovered that I get bored easily. I like challenges. I like change, which I never thought I would say that. I like experiencing new experiences. Like now, during my career break, I've been traveling. I've gone to places. I'm sure you've seen my previous videos. So, which when you have a career break, you have that time to experience or do the things that you like. Yeah, finances, you have to be well disciplined, and I've discussed in that in previous video. But again, guys, if you have any questions, drop them down in the comments and let me know. Do you agree, you disagree, you know, because I know people will think at this day and age people still look for freedom. It's difficult out there, but if there's a will, there's a way. Again, nothing in life is guaranteed. You could be in a full-time job and then you get turned down, you might get fired, anything can happen. So this is how I tell myself, I could be in a full-time job and things can happen, and then that job will be gone. So always be prepared, and I think that's how the future of work is right now. You have to have that, which we're going to talk about that, but I've mentioned it before. Your education and your experience is not enough. You need to focus also on your transferable skills that will help you to have that resilience. But that's a whole topic on its own. I've got a very good question that has been asked, which I'm going to talk about now. So at this time of recording this video, somebody asked a very good question. This viewer asked me, thank you again for asking this question, what is the future of biomedical science? Are our skills going to be obsolete? So the skills that you have, are they going to be no use? The good news is no. The good news is your skills are still going to be there, and I'm an advocate of that, because the skills of a biomedical scientist, most of them are transferable skills. So they are applicable to almost any career. And in addition to that, science communication. So you can simplify scientific findings to an ordinary person, not just a scientist or a healthcare professional. So, and also adding to that, because of the technology transforming every sector, including healthcare, there's a lot going on. Like when we spoke about biomedical science, biomedical engineering, you've got the AI, you've got the technology, you've got all this revolution that's happening now. So the good news is it's promising. It's a positive outlook. That's all I can say. So, but what I want you to appreciate, you need to have that growth mindset. You need to have the flexibility, and also you need to be able to continue learning. So flexibility in learning new things, new skills to enhance your career longevity and success. So it's up to you to look for any new courses. For example, my personal experience, when I first went into, when I took the career break and I was exploring, I did a short course on Coursera. It was it free? I'm not sure. But Coursera, they charge you a certain amount in order to get the certificate. But by all means, if you want to just explore it, it was about digital health. So digital health is a big thing, and now you've got AI and everything, data management, all of that. So find what is aligned with your personality and start progressing in that. That's how you can stay current and up to date. But we're going to talk about that. I've got a video coming up about the future in specific, because it's a huge topic. So well done. That was a good timing for me to let you know that it's coming. And also, this is I'm a believer in that, and I said it before I even found this information. Because of this technology transforming every industry, industries will collaborate, they will integrate some way or another. So that's where your skills and being up to date will come handy. Let me share with you a little experience. When I first went, actually that was the first event that I've attended in healthcare. And I remember I approached this company in Dubai. And I asked him, I'm a biomedical scientist, what opportunities would I have? And he said to me, in this particular company, whether you are in data or genetics or sales. So I was like, oh, okay. So there you go. So if you want to progress to a certain company, go and find out, and then you can work your way through by getting additional credentials. It doesn't have to be a degree. There's a term that I came across in one of the talks I attended called micro-credentials, which is you do a course, a short course, or anything that you get a skill and a certificate to prove that you've got that skill. For example, for me, I didn't do another master's when I did my master's. When I worked as a biomedical scientist, I decided to do healthcare management because I was really interested in that, and I paid for it myself. It was part-time, it was online, and that was good. And there was graduation, which I really enjoyed. I said, yes, I'm gonna go to the graduation. So there is always, where there's a will, there's a way. Okay, you might say to me, okay, but Ida, I'm working full-time, I have a family, I have commitments, etc. This is how I learned it. I discovered it. You know what? One thing, unless you try, you won't know unless you try, as they say. So when I was doing full-time, when I was working full-time and I was doing the course, which was part-time, I used to do an hour Monday to Friday, for example. So that's 5 hours. They tell you the minimum hours that you need per week, but it worked for me. So before I go to work, because I knew when I come back from work, working in a lab, at the end of the day, I'm so exhausted. So I used to wake up a little bit early. Obviously, I used to go pray in the morning. So that before and after, so that gives me like, say, 2-hour window. If I have a work to submit, for example, I would come home, go to bed as early as I can, and then maybe because you're so committed, you will wake up. So I used to wake up 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock just to finalize it, and don't wait until the deadline. This is something I've learned since I did my master's. I submit 2 days before, because what happens is when you stress to submit, oh my god, all the ideas happen. So that's what worked for me. If you're a night person, for example, and it works for you, just find a way. You don't have to commit a whole day. And the biggest lie you can tell yourself is to do it in the weekend. No, your body shuts down. Again, I'm sharing all of this from my observations, guys. I realize when the weekend comes, I'm exhausted. I want to rest. So I never used to work weekends. I used to not do any work, any studies. Maybe if I'm refreshed on a Sunday, I'll catch up, but I stopped relying on that. I think that's when most people make that mistake. And it's a commitment to force yourself to wake up in the morning. Or it might work for you in the night, but I'm just sharing my experience. I'm not a 5 a.m. club. I think I'm earlier than that, but that's what worked for me. So a tip for you, if you're a professional or you have certain commitments and you can't commit, it's very difficult now. Everybody's working and studying. Nobody is just studying full time. Dedicate a very little time, an hour a day. Start with that, and then you will build that habit and find out what's working for you. So thank you so much, guys, for participating. I really appreciate it. I did try and reshare it again so that people who have will have the opportunity to vote. And I've seen that people were equally interested in all the parts or the themes that I've put down. That's why I decided to cover everything. And like I said, this whole channel is building a community to help you, navigate or enhance your journey, whether in biomedical science or any career. And it will be, and for you to know what's available for you to continue learning and improving yourself. And my best tip I would tell you, and I tell myself, is stay curious. Don't just settle. Keep asking questions, keep seeking knowledge as you navigating through your professional journey or your next journey, because that's how you survive. That's how you stand out. That's how you are ahead of everybody or ahead of the game. So keep those questions coming. I will be doing those Q&A questions regularly, but I am so excited, as much as I'm excited about the new mic that I've got on. Hopefully it's working now. Thank you for the feedback, where everybody has been giving me great feedback. Again, we learn and we grow together. This is not just me delivering information, and I'm really excited about the upgrade that I've got in the new year on this channel. And keep the feedback, keep the questions coming. And again, thank you everybody for your support, whether you're a viewer or everyone. I really appreciate it. Keep the engagement. This way we grow together and we thrive together. And until the next video, keep shining, keep inspiring, and see you next time. Hi everyone, today's video is a Q&A question. Hi everyone, sometimes I really struggle with starting a video, but anyway, let's go. Okay, let's just get started.